Welcome to the Collector Cave, and today we're going to review Hasbro Marvel Legends Retro Collection, the Fantastic Four, the whole team in one shot. And I just reviewed the Doctor Doom, and Fantastic Four for me, growing up was my favorite comic book. I had a subscription in the 80s, and they're real close to my heart. So I don't typically buy 3 3/4 inch figures, as I mentioned in my Doom video, but a lot of these were on sale on Big Bad Toy Store. I came across them, and that's why I picked them up. So we'll go over each one in detail, but here's the team collected on the card backs. And as you can see, the peg holes have not been punched out in any of these, which is pretty cool. I am going to open these because I don't not open toys anymore. I open them to enjoy them, for toy photography, YouTube reviews like this. I did order 2 Dooms. I have 1 Doom on a card back and 1 opened, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to open these. And with the Doom figure, it works pretty good, so you could still use the card back if you wanted. But let's just take a closer look at some of these. And, they don't come with any accessories, which is kind of a bummer. At least, like Star Wars retro figures or like the OG, original trilogy figures, they all came with, accessories, a gun, a lightsaber. But these don't come with anything, which is a bit of a bummer. If they weren't on sale, I probably, wouldn't have done it. But yeah, there's the whole team. I absolutely love the artwork on these cards. I think the artwork and the presentation on these cards is fantastic. No pun intended. So let's go ahead and take a look at each one by one, and then we'll place the team together. Okay, first up, of course, is Reed Richards' Mr. Fantastic. And if we zoom in a little bit, you can see, I love the color of the outfit. It's not too dark blue. It's more of like that original look, kind of, as far as the colors go. And, look, I'm looking forward to the Fantastic Four movie coming out in July. It's the end of April right now, and I can't wait. I'm a huge FF fan. I'm hoping they do all the characters justice, and I hope Doom is done right. We can talk about that another day, but for now, I'm pretty excited. I'm actually wearing my Fantastic Four shirt right now. I'm ready to go for that movie in July. But, the artwork is fantastic. I don't know what artist did these, but they look really good. Mr. Fantastic. Doesn't say Reed Richards anywhere. And then it has the Kenner logo. And I'm not sure if Kenner made these a long time ago, or if they're just kind of doing the retro thing like they do with Star Wars. But the good news is there's no retro sticker on this card back like they do with Star Wars. I hate that sticker. I know they say you can pull it off, but I've heard horror stories about doing that. But anyway, there's the Fantastic car up top. This is for ages 4 and up. There is a choking hazard, this little paper that comes with it. Small parts warning for ages 3 and under. So you want to make sure you keep your real little ones away from this, as they could possibly choke on it. But here is the back, and each one of these comes with a card that you can cut out. And man, if I was a kid, I would absolutely love to cut these out and collect them in a binder. But here's what it says about Mr. Fantastic. It says, Reed Richards has a body of rubber and brilliant scientific mind. Whether it's a cosmic threat or Doctor Doom, he can stretch his way out of any bind. Very Stan Lee, type messaging, which I think is apropos considering. There's the USP, or the, what is that? Whatever that barcode is. And then there is the date on this. This is dated 2022. So I'd imagine this probably came out maybe 2023. I'm not sure exactly when these dropped, but it's been a couple years. So these are older. But again, let's get this guy opened up. What I'm going to do to open him is I'm going to take an X-Acto blade, and I'm going to cut along the bottom of the plastic, along the side, and then along the top. And then I'll be able to peel the card open to get the figure out. So if you do this, just be very careful. Don't have your little ones do this. Get an adult to help you. But let's go ahead and get this guy opened and then take a closer look. All right, as you can see, I was able to cut along this and just peel it up. Didn't really damage the card in the process. And then you can just, pull this plastic piece out to get the figure out. So it worked really good, and the card is intact. It looks really good. And then this piece of paper, like I said, is just a 3 years and under warning, choke hazard warning. But here is little Reed Richards, 3 3/4 inches. And I said these were 5 points. They're technically, I guess, 7 points of articulation, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. But let's just zoom in and take a look at Reed. You know, for being a small figure like he is, he's painted pretty well. I think the paint apps are good. You can see the white on his hair. Around the neck isn't done the best. You can see some blue coming through by the neck there. But the Fantastic Four symbol is painted good, I think. I think it looks good. The belt's not too bad. And then there's the boots. And then here's the back of the figure right here. So let's go over articulation real quick. You know, head is a swivel, like most 5 points. The arms can go all the way around. Now, there's no bendableness to this figure. He doesn't bend. His arms doesn't stretch, unfortunately. And then both the legs move so he can sit down. And then where I say 7 points, it was the same with Doom, is the wrists rotate at the glove. At the edge of the glove, they rotate. So, I mean, I guess that's cool. There's not a whole lot you can do. He has open hands, nothing to carry, no weapons or no scientific gadgets. It's just Reed. And there is a little bit of a blurb on the white Fantastic Four. You can see it's a little beat up. I'm zoomed in really close. It's not perfect, but I think overall, you know, as a Fantastic Four fan and collector of, you know, most things Fantastic Four, I'm glad to have these. As I said, I missed out on them. I didn't realize they were even available. I don't typically collect 5 points anymore. I'm more into 1/12 scale and 1/6 scale figures. But this does kind of hit my childhood feels a little bit seeing this guy. So that's Reed Richards, and they do have holes, so you can get a peg, a stand. They sell those round plastic stands for like the Star Wars figures. You can get those to if you want to display them on a shelf. Although I will say he stands pretty good without being on a base. So that's Reed. Let's go ahead and move on into Susan. Okay, and here is Sue Storm. The card back does call her Sue Storm. So this is before she's married to Reed. But I mean, obviously you could say it's, you know, Sue Richards. And the Invisible Woman, I know back in the day when they first created the FF comic, she was always called the Invisible Girl. And I think that's, I don't know if it's derogatory nowadays, but she's been called the Invisible Woman for quite a while. So Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, and again, the packaging up top is the same with the Fantastic Car, Marvel Legends, Fantastic Four, the Invisible Woman. And again, that artwork is super cool. You can see her legs going invisible there. The Kenner logo, which, boy, I miss those days, man. I miss that. And then there's Sue. We'll get a closer look when we open her up. And on the back, again, just like the other one, she has a card that you can cut out, which is, you know, kind of the cover art, which is neat. And then it says about her write-up, it says, when the fantastic Sue Storm wields force fields and invisibility, villains can't defeat what they can't see. Isn't that the truth? And there's a UPC, and she has a date of 2021. So these came out in different waves, much like Marvel Legends do. So she was an earlier wave. So this figure is, you know, 4 years old now. I don't know if she came out in 2021, but that's what the card back says. So I'm going to do a similar thing. I'm going to cut along here to try and preserve the card back, and then we'll take a look at Sue and her articulation. All right, here's Sue Storm. And upon a closer look, I like how she has the shorter blonde hair. I think the face looks pretty good for a 3 3/4 inch figure. And then there's the FF symbol, which looks good and clean. She does have rotating wrists, and then she has boots there. So she doesn't stand as good. The boots do have the holes, but I'd be curious, that pad would have to be pretty deep or pretty tall in order to get up into the boots there if you wanted to get a stand. But let's go ahead and go over articulation. Okay, so Sue, her head rotates, swivels, her arms move just like any other 3 3/4 inch figure, and her legs also move. And she does have the wrists that swivel as well. So 7 points of articulation. So pretty cool articulation on Sue's part. Sorry about that. Sue thought she was going to be funny and go invisible. But as you can see, she has the same articulation as everybody else. So there's that. Yeah, so she looks good. Let's go ahead next and go to Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. Okay, and here is Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. And I just realized his is different. The card back has like him doing the Fantastic Four symbol in the sky instead of the Fantastic car. That's the first one that's been different. Doom and the other Fantastic Four members all have the Fantastic car there. So that's kind of cool that he's got a little bit of different look there. Everything else is the same. Fantastic Four, ages 4 and up. Human Torch. Awesome, cool artwork of Johnny. The Kenner logo. And this figure actually has some flame pieces attached to him, which looks really cool. And on the back, there's the card you can cut out. And then here's his write-up. It says, "Day or night, the fantastic Human Torch lights up the sky. In the battle against evil for justice, he will fly." A lot of rhyming with these card backs. Something very much like a Stan Lee-ism, right? I don't know if that's actually stuff Stan Lee wrote, but it sure feels like it. And then there's the UPC. And then this figure has a date of 2021 as well. Same as Sue Storm. So I'm going to, again, use my X-Acto blade to open this figure up, and we'll take a closer look. All right, and there's Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, out of packaging. And I think he looks really cool. It's like a translucent red. You can actually kind of see behind him. And then he has these flame effects that have been attached, probably by glue, I think. On his head, he's got one, which looks really cool. Let me zoom in a bit more here. Yeah, check that out. Really cool. Little hothead Johnny. And then they have the lines. I love when they draw the lines like that in the comic. And then flames by his calves as well, and his ankles. So really cool. The back doesn't have any lines. They kind of cheaped out in the back, but it still looks good. And this one is actually a true 5 points. His wrists don't rotate because of the flame effect. So his head, will swivel, and then his arms go up and down, swivel, and his legs also swivel as well. So they can all sit down. So boy, if they would have made a Fantastic car for this line, that'd be kind of cool to be able to put them in something like that. I don't know if they made any vehicles for this this retro line. Maybe let me know in the comments, because that, man, if I can get my hands in a Fantastic car, that would be awesome. So yeah, I think this is a cool one. I think this might be the best looking one so far, just because of the way they did the body. Yeah, he's smiling. The flame effects look really good. That's a cool figure. All right, last but not least, Ben Grimm, the Thing. All right, and here's Ben Grimm, as it says, Marvel's the Thing. And really cool artwork. You see Ben kind of smirking there, smiling, holding the sign in his hand. And this is a hefty figure. Obviously, he's bigger. He's still 3 3/4, although he might be taller. Maybe he's like 4 inches. I don't have my tape measure, but he's definitely bigger. But he's that 3 3/4 inch, line, so he matches. And then there again, it's a Fantastic car, ages 4 and up, Marvel Legends. We flip it around. There's the card to cut out, and then this write-up says, "When the punches are rolling and the baddies are all in line, that's when the Thing knows it's clobbering time." So cool. I love these little write-ups, man. UPC, and then he has a date of 2022, same as Reed. So again, like 3 years old. But like I said, I never saw him until on Big Bad Toy Store like a couple weeks ago when I got these. So let's go ahead and get Ben cut open and take a closer look at Ben. All right, and here is Ben Grimm, the Thing, out of packaging. And a really cool look. The way they colored this, or the type of plastic they used for this orange, I just think looks really good. Maybe he could have been darker, maybe. But I think the lighter color orange is more accurate to the early stuff, like the Jack Kirby stuff, I believe. And then there is some paint bleed. If I zoom in on the shorts, you can see into the thigh. So that's disappointing. I can maybe take my X-Acto blade and kind of carve that out, but I'm not going to worry about it. Belt's pretty decent. That's about all the paint he has on him as far as other colors. His eyes are painted good. You can see his mouth. It would have been cool if his mouth was open. You saw some teeth. But it's a good look. It's a clobbering time look right there. But they did a great job in the detail of the rock look. It's all indented. It's not like it's painted on. It's actually part of the sculpt, which is cool. And then for articulation, he is also 5 points like Johnny. His head, will turn. His arms will turn. Let me zoom back a little bit. And then his legs will also go. Not quite 90 because of, his big old rock thighs, but close to it. And then he also has the holes on his feet if you want to put a base on him, which are not included. No base is included with these figures. Be cool if his waist would rotate. But yeah, pretty neat. Not a whole lot more to say. They look good. They're not perfect, but I think for the cost, it's worth it in my opinion. Let's get the team together and then talk about if these figures are worth it or not. All right, here's the Fantastic Four assembled as a team. I think they look really cool together, and even though I display like higher end figures in my displays like Hot Toys, I still want to display these in a Fantastic Four space on my shelf. I think they're pretty cool. I'll probably buy round circular stands for them. If we throw in Doom, you can see the height difference there as well. He's almost as tall as Ben, maybe a little shorter. But overall, I think these look really cool. Now, are they worth it? Because they don't come with much. They don't come with any accessories, as we mentioned. Well, what I paid for on BBTS, I'll tell you right now, Reed Richards was $13.99. He's still available. Sue Storm, I got her for $9.79. She was on sale. And I got Human Torch for $11.99. And then I got Ben Grimm for $13.99. Ben Grimm is now sold out in Big Bad Toy Store as of the time of this recording, end of April of 2025. I doubt they'll get more in. Maybe you can find them other places, maybe Entertainment Earth. I'm not sure. But I don't know what the retail value is on these for like eBay for resale value. I can't imagine very high. I think they didn't do very well because they didn't come with much and they're still available 3, 4, 5 years later almost. But for me, as a fan of Fantastic Four and especially of Doctor Doom, I am super happy to have these. I'm glad I got a couple of them on sale. Like Sue was $9, 9 something. That's fine with me. I think Doom was $16.99, which I think is a bit pricey for a figure this size with no accessories. But I still am glad I have them. I'm a big Doom nut. So yeah, I think they're worth it for me. Let me know what you guys think. This isn't something I typically review on this channel, but this is the toy review channel. So sometimes you're going to see stuff that's a little different, apart from Hot Toys and Mezco, which I normally review on this channel. So give me a like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this has been Hasbro Marvel Legends Retro Collection, The Fantastic Four.